White privilege, line one. White privilege, line one. I am incredibly confused this morning. Over the last few years, I have lost count on how many times someone working for ESPN has given me a stern lecture on my supposed white privilege. According to the worldwide leader in woke, on November 27th, 1984, I was born into benefits and privileges that aren't afforded to what they like to call the victims. For example, if I have had a few too many at happy hour, cops pull me over on the way home, I'm going to jail. If someone who chooses to identify with a marginalized group finds themselves in the same circumstances, cops pull them over, they resist arrest, they end up running from the police. During the pursuit, they confiscate several items from the liquor store. He was stealing because he was hungry. Cops finally arrest him, but doesn't go to jail. With the new and improved no bail laws, the police transition into Uber drivers and give him a ride home. Do you understand now how I have privilege? My privilege gave me free accommodations at the county motel. Poor identifier was forced to sleep in his own tent. White privilege. One of the many problems when you plant your cucumber in the deacons at Woke United Methodist, you open yourself up to hypocrisy. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. At some point, you are going to be forced to make a decision that completely defies everything that you pretend to stand for. How many of you guys have heard of Marly Rivera? Before last night, I had never heard of her. Now, I don't follow Major League Baseball. I'm sure some of my baseball enthusiasts out there are familiar with her, especially if you're a fan of the New York Yankees. Marly Rivera is a Puerto Rican journalist who has been covering Major League Baseball at ESPN for the last 13 years. Now, anytime I am covering someone that I've never heard of, I like to dig into their background. I want to find out. I want to know who I'm about to defend. I spent a few minutes this morning researching the background of Marly Rivera. In the past, she has written about racism in Major League Baseball. Back in 2019, she spoke about the lack of diversity in Boston. For the longest time, the Red Sox didn't have any melanin covering the team. Today, there's only one black journalist covering the Boston Red Sox. It's so depressing! There's been a few instances of Marly Rivera dipping her toes into the woke pond, but I wouldn't put her in the category of a full-blown shitfuck. I wouldn't put her in the same category with Reverend Jalen Rose or Smelly Jameli Hill, the wicked wig of the woke, the abundance of Joy Reid. I am not going to classify this as another case of the woke turning on the woke. To be honest with you, even if she was a graduate of Woke U, I would still come to the defense of Marly Rivera against this bullshit. Like I say all the time, this is not an agenda-driven channel. If you're a card-carrying member of Woke United Methodist, we will still come to your defense when you were inevitably betrayed by your own deacons. I will probably make fun of you while doing so. I'll damn sure say, I told you so. But I'll defend you if you've been screwed. And make no mistake about it, Marly Rivera, she was wronged by ESPN. Last week, the Los Angeles Angels, they were in the Bronx to play the New York Yankees. Recently, there have been no Angels in the outfield. Even with the most prolific player in baseball, the Angels still find ways to not win baseball games. Haven't made the playoffs since 2014. Haven't won a postseason game since 2009. But anyway, before the game, Marly Rivera, she scheduled a post-game interview with Yankees captain Aaron Judge. This is what professional beat writers do. They prepare. Game ends. Yankees either win or lose. Who really cares? It's still April. Marly Rivera makes her way to the locker room to wait on Aaron Judge. When she gets back there, she notices a female birthing person and fellow baseball writer by the name of Yvonne Gate. Yvonne Gate is a freelance reporter. She was given this particular assignment by Tokyo Broadcasting. Now that part right there, that is important to remember because Yvonne Gate was there to cover Shohei Ohtani. That was her assignment, Shohei Ohtani. Now, it's unclear how the conversation started between these two journalists. Perhaps it started off innocent. Ooh, girl, I love those shoes. Oh, thanks, sis. I got them on sale at Goodwill. It was a 2-for-1 deal. Buy one shoe, and they give you the other shoe for free. After they made it through the pleasantries, perhaps Marly Rivera asked her colleague what she was doing outside the Yankees locker room. Girl, I'm waiting for Aaron Judge. I'm hoping to get an interview with him, but I'm really here for the woke hug. At that point, Marly Rivera told Yvonne Gate that she had an appointment set up with Aaron Judge. Now, to be transparent, I have never been a journalist. I have never been in this situation before. I know it's a competitive industry. Everyone is looking to make a name for themselves, but I would imagine professional courtesy would be to let Marly Rivera go first since she had a scheduled interview. Then, if time permitted, Yvonne Gate could speak to Aaron Judge afterwards. That's not what happened here. Marly Rivera and Yvonne Gate, they start arguing with each other. Rivera kept hammering the point that she had a scheduled interview. This was her beat, and she wanted to speak with Aaron Judge first. Yvonne Gate refused to listen. Obviously, Marly Rivera ends up getting pissed off. I mean, who can blame her? She let her emotions take over, and while cameras were rolling, she called Yvonne Gate a term that is a direct violation of the woke commandments. Since we're talking about Major League Baseball here, I'll use some of their terminology to describe it. Marly Rivera called Yvonne Gate a word that starts with the letter C and rhymes with bunt. Now, I know we're all adults here. I would just say the word, but for some reason, it automatically demonetizes the video here on YouTube. I am not in the business of working for free, so I got to come up with creative ways to describe it. Marly Rivera, she immediately regretted her emotional outburst. She tried apologizing to Yvonne Gate. She wasn't hearing it. She tried apologizing again. No bueno. She tried apologizing again. Yvonne Gate did her best Heisman impersonation and gave her the stiff arm. Now, I couldn't find audio or video of this recording, but the recording, it did make its way to executives at ESPN. We conducted a thorough investigation into this direct violation of the woke commandments. We spent absolutely no time considering any of the extenuating circumstances. Once our virgin ears were exposed to this horrific word, which describes a female body part that all men working at ESPN are afraid of, we made the decision to terminate Marly Rivera's woke welfare. What? You fired her? Over this? You fired a 13-year employee over this? One lapse in judgment? From everything I have read about her, Marly Rivera has a spotless reputation. She is well respected in media, well respected throughout Major League Baseball. She also belongs to what the wanker spankers at ESPN describe as a marginalized group. Translation, in the eyes of ESPN, Marly Rivera is always a victim. So why would they terminate the woke welfare of someone belonging to a marginalized group? Especially when you consider the fact the person she got into an argument with is married to someone with white privilege. Well, KC, how does Yvonne Gates' husband have anything to do with this? Be careful. Be careful. In this day and age, you cannot be sure Yvonne Gate is actually married to a man. He could choose to identify as a female birthing person. He might choose to identify as an emotional support shovel and prefer the pronouns shit fuck. But in this case, Yvonne Gates' husband chooses to identify as the evil white man. His name is John Blundell. Johnny, he's not working the coffee maker at Starbucks. He doesn't make a living lighting road flares for nighttime construction workers. In the world of Major League Baseball, John Blundell is a powerful man. He is the vice president of communications for Major League Baseball. Communications. I wonder if he has anything to do with the beat reporters covering Major League Baseball. Turns out, John Blundell and Marly Rivera, they have a checkered past. They have had several professional disagreements. During an interview with the New York Post, Marly Rivera claims she was being singled out by a group of individuals who she doesn't get along with professionally. Now, when she says group of individuals, she means two: Yvonne Gate, John Blundell. Sounds like privilege to me. On one side, you have a highly respected veteran reporter with an esteemed reputation. On the other side, you have an unknown birthing person trying to steal an interview with a player she was not even assigned to cover. Oh, and she just so happens to be tapping the bongo of the vice president of communications of Major League Baseball. Who has the privilege here? The thing is, I thought ESPN was fighting against white privilege. I thought ESPN was eliminating white privilege. Seems to me ESPN only cares about white privilege when it fits their narrative. Now, some people might try to claim this was a case of poor timing. ESPN's in the midst of layoffs. This was an easy opportunity to let Marly Rivera go. That excuse is bullshit. ESPN would have fired Marly Rivera either way. If there is one thing ESPN has proven over the last few years, they have zero tolerance for violations of the woke commandments. They're afraid of any controversy. They're afraid of social media backlash. Problem is here, firing Marly Rivera blew up in ESPN's face. ESPN is being destroyed on social media, and rightfully so. They could have suspended her. Hell, I think suspending her would have been too harsh. They could have just written her up. But once again, ESPN caves to pressure. They side with the privileged and fire the marginalized. If that's not hypocrisy, I don't know what is. But give me your thoughts. Should Marly Rivera have been fired for calling Yvonne Gate a mean name? Does this further prove the hypocrisy at ESPN? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.